Alright, we have a teaching game with OGS 8Q. I think I'm just going to play more to the flow of the game rather than try to make weird moves to force errors. Standard star point Joseki start, that is the play that I'm most familiar with. So, probably just going to do this. Okay, he didn't take the attachment. I think according to the... Okay, that's fair. According to the... according to Katago, the attachment is better than the fly-in corner. And honestly, it is better than the fly-in corner. But I prefer the fly-in corner, actually. Starting out just to be a very, very much regular game. I want to do this attachment here, but I really don't know how to play this attachment right. If I just do the 3-3 and he blocks that way, that could be troublesome. I could also just do this and see what he does. I'm not that familiar with the Joseki with the attachment myself. The thing is, like, playing against Katago so much recently has honestly given me like I don't know what I'd call it, honestly. Like playing with Kata, like playing so much with Kata recently, like it's just given me a very, very much careful way to play the game, and I don't really like it. Like the way I've actually been trained to kind of like play the game, more or less. Definitely not really to my liking. Probably should have headed this way, actually, now that I think about it. Unless he does that, that's fine. I will play the ko with him. There's not that many good ko's right now anyways. He could block this way and play the ko with me. That's kind of what I expected him to do. I kind of expect him to double Hane here. Nope, he does that. And we're going to do this. This does leave the cut for later, but it does actually weaken, it does actually massively weaken my group over here, though. I think if I was playing Katago, that group would basically be dead. But since I'm not, the group is not dead. That's not a good move for him. Do attach out first. I don't think that was a great move, actually. No, it definitely wasn't a great move. He could actually wedge here, and that would give me a lot of problems. He did not wedge, which is pretty amazing. Before I do that, though, need to fix this. It's a weird way to fix it. That still gives me the peep here. These aren't good moves by me, and I don't think I should have invaded because that makes this group really weak. But this group was pretty weak overall to begin with. There's two ways to play this. You can go back here, but I don't think that's a good move because I'm just going to do this. He is building a good wall over here, and he can actually make good use of this. But like I said, it's weird that he left this particular way to fix this. This particular way to fix this is not good because he leaves a peep over here, which I can actually make use of later. Yeah, that's definitely not good for him. I'm going to take this. Oh, there is actually... Wait, hang on. No, he can't do that because that Atari gets that Atari. All right, it's fine. It actually didn't turn out horrible for him. It definitely turned out bad for him, but it wasn't like uber horrible. There is still this move, which would force me to take the stone. I should have probably just taken it, based on that. If I were him, I would start attacking this group. It's not exactly the correct move to attack this group. I've been like doing a lot more of these poking moves ever since I like started playing against Katago. And yeah, you can thank that to Katago's influence on me. So I have actually started playing around a little bit at least. If I do this, he can actually cut here. I could just go over top, but there's still like a disconnect here. This particular stone isn't all that important to me. I can just break that territory whenever I want. This would actually be a very troublesome group playing against someone of similar strength because this wall over here is quite strong. Even though I did manage to break his territory over here. I will peep down here very soon. Or I could just like invade down here. There's not much you can do if I do that. I don't think like I am definitely favored right now, but I don't think the difference in points is actually that great at this point. I really don't. Because like I said, he still has this move here, which is kind of troublesome. I would have to take, he would extend out. And at that point, I'm not really sure. I might just extend back in just to make the two eyes. Then he would have to fix the wall or something over here. The weird thing is, like, playing so many games against Katago, I know that, like, this isn't solid. This is definitely not solidified. Territory. So I guess like this particular game will just kind of be like definitely more like invasion based. Of a teaching game. I think I give decent amounts of time. 10 minutes plus 5 periods of 30-second bio-yomis. Doesn't make the game last too long, but you know, it's good enough for you to like think, process some of this stuff through. I did turn off analysis because I actually do want people to actually improve. And one of the ways you improve is by improving your reading. Actually, like taking this right now and trying to build up this territory wouldn't be too bad of an idea, although it would be kind of difficult. Because I would just Hane right over. I would just Hane over if you did that. He does do that. I'm just gonna do this. See, if I do this, like, the correct move would be here. I'm going to do this and see what he does. This is actually a bad move, because if he Hanes here, he can separate out my two groups. Or almost separate out my two groups. See, that's the wrong move, because it gives me another Hane here. And that actually makes me a lot stronger. It gives me another Atari here, and it makes me a lot stronger. So that was definitely a wrong move. Solidify my corner. If I was playing against Kata, this isn't solidified. There's still a bunch of BS invasions they can do there. This is a Katago inspired move. I know that much. But the thing about Katago inspired moves is like you have to understand why Kata actually does them. This particular move is actually Sente. I'm gonna do this first. I don't know if this is actually a good move or not. But I think blocking that way might have been correct. I'm not sure. Doing that might have also been correct, actually. I'm not really sure if I'm playing this right. I don't think I am. It's unfortunate. It's fine. If he does this, that's... well, if he lets me, like, gets that cut. This is actually pretty dangerous for me to do as well. Because now I have two really strong walls on either side. And you really don't want to let the other player have two strong walls on either side. That brings you a lot of issues. It's okay because you're going to attack my group in the center. Like, I wouldn't do this with Kata because it would just kill me, but... Kata would just essentially kill me. Okay, that I don't think is a good move because it's not really that crucial. I'm just gonna Hane up here, just for points. I think there might be an invasion in here, but since I blocked this off, this isn't gonna be that many points. This particular thing is not that many points. I think that actually needs to be blocked. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to jump out. Margot is about getting enough points to win. I've broken enough of his territory to actually get a win. Like, I'm not going to win by like 60 or 100 points here. That's not my goal anyways. But I will win by a decent amount of points here because I've taken away his territory. Just gonna take away a little bit more territory here. There are a couple of attachment moves that I do worry about, but I don't think there's anything like specific that worries me. Like I said, there's always this come out move here. I'm gonna just kind of solidify this, I guess. I don't really care if he gets territory here. It's not really that many points. Plus, I can always clamp here anyways. Going to make sure he doesn't pull something. And actually, I don't really need to do that. I'm not really sure if he's aware of that or not. I'm going to do this. That's actually pretty big. And as is this. Because he can actually clamp. That's actually quite a lot of points. This whole thing in here is probably like 10. So it's not that big. And plus, like, there's problem if I push here, there's big problems. Not really sure what that move is for. Either way, I'm going to push. Yeah. Kind of has to do that. I'm just going to... You can just do that. There's not that many points there. Guess I can just do this. And make my eye here. This is decently big. If he did this, I would probably just connect on the bottom so he doesn't have to clamp. There is also a clamp here, I believe. It's pretty big. Then coming up. So there actually isn't anything here. If I do this, he can... Actually, what... I guess he can just Hane here, I think. Yeah, there's actually nothing there. So, like, this, you would just Hane, and I can't really do anything. If I do this, you can just, like, clamp this way. Oh, wait, can he? No, actually he can't. So, there's actually no points in here, but it's not really worth it right now. extending this up is way more important. And also, like, this is huge here, because I can't actually block. So I should have actually done that. No, I can actually block, can I? Yeah, I can. Never mind. There's no points there. There is absolutely no points there. However, there are definitely points here. And Hana in. This is probably bigger, actually. Okay, that's pretty solidified. Just going to take a couple of centes here. Actually, that's probably not a good move. That's not a good move. That's good. Let's take a couple of centes here. This is actually probably bigger than any of these moves down here. Oh, why not? Fixes a couple of problems too. Okay, I got that. Do I try to take this away, or? Because like this Hane is actually really big. All he has to do is stick down here, and then let's see how he plays. Because this, I don't think this is particularly that great of a move. There's not that much in there in the first place. This is Sente for me, so this works out fine. My whole goal was to break the corner territory, and I did that, so that works fine. It's fine. That is Sente for him. But this is actually pretty big. I should have probably connected this. This is actually fairly large. Definitely just going to live here. Not going to mess with that. You would definitely connect this, because if you take it and he, I don't think there's anything here, but he could, if you do this, he extends, you do this, he can Atari this way and then Hane down that way. So you have to connect here, because then you can just go all the way across. You can't take, because if you take, he can do this and Hane down, and I think he actually kills you that way. It's okay, because let's do this. There's not that many points there. He has to connect. He can't Hane down. Otherwise, this is a double Atari here. Also, this isn't any points, because I can actually just extend down. That's... This is pretty big as well. I'm always afraid that there's going to be something in here, but I'm pretty sure this is alive. There's just no way he can actually kill me here, I don't think. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I have 2 eyes there. This is still really big. The thing is, like, this game wasn't about killing groups. This game was just about, like, the difference in playing and attacking strength between 8K and 1 Dan. You don't have to kill a lot of... You don't honestly have to kill, like, any groups. It's actually not actually useful at all, because I can just take this. That's a bad move, because I can just take this and he can't do anything. See, I'm not going to connect this. I'm just going to ignore that. I'm just going to take this stone, just so I don't forget later. It's like it's a certain way I play. If I actually know I've already won, then I tend to just play a lot more carefully. I don't risk, like, I'm not a person who, like, risks screwing up, like, winning games, especially at this point in the game. It's a very good move. Margin of victory may be good for, like, winning by a lot of points might be good for flexing, but it's generally pretty pointless. So I don't do it for the most part. Just not very useful for me. Not very useful for me at all. This is pretty big.
10.
Can he kill me in here? I don't think so, right? No. I'm just going to do this later. This is how I feel like when I'm playing against Katago, honestly. Like, he basically gets every freaking single Sente there is. And it's quite annoying that he does. I'll let him get these. But I'm gonna break these too. Still much bigger, like, these moves are actually a little bit bigger. Because if he does this, can I do this? No, because he can just do that. So I have to retreat. If he does that, I'm just going to retreat to be sure. I think I think I could have actually blocked that one. But whatever. Just to make sure. Like I said, like, if you're like a lower SDK and you just play like a regular ranked game against me, that's actually a really good move. Because I actually can't do anything about this. I have to go this way. Oh, I forgot about the wedge. Oh, that's a really good move, actually. Yeah, that's actually quite a few points. here. No, I can't do anything. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. He gets a lot. He actually gets quite a few points here. It's pretty good. It's not a good move. Actually, it's okay. Yeah, he actually got a lot of points there. This game is actually a lot closer because I didn't than I thought because I didn't actually pursue any kind of fights. Like I probably should have. Definitely should have pursued some fights. But I didn't actually end up pursuing any fights. And plus I did play a lot of stuff wrong, so that's my fault. Not really.
Nine, 8. Ten, 9.
I don't think there's any points left. There's one more ko over here, and that's it. I don't think there's any more points left, but I'm not going to fight that ko. If this game was really close, like I was up by like 1 point, I would, but I am up by more than 1 point, so I'm not going to. These guys.
Pass. Remove the dead stones.
Winning by 40 something.
You have won.
Yeah. So we're going to review this game. I win by 46.5, and like I said, a lot of these games aren't fighting, but knowing like how to deal with some of my invasions and how to use the thickness is definitely part of improving. And it's a large part of improving, because if he actually knew how to use his thickness, I'm pretty sure he could have won this game, because I didn't play optimally at all. I think I was thinking about going here. I think I would have done better myself if I gone here. I mean, realistically, it doesn't make any difference. But like, just for my style of play, I probably should have gone here. Here, he does this, I do this, he comes up, and I invade this corner over here. Do this. There is Aji over here, especially if I jump. Like, Katago drove me insane by like invading every corner when I invested like so many stones to do this. But essentially, I do this, he does this. This is not bad because it does actually let him fly under here. I'm going to get the corner. He does this. That I don't think is necessary right now. I think it's much better if he just plays here. Or possibly he just solidifies the corner. Because, you know, that's like solid territory. This has room for invasion. Here, there's definitely Aji if I play here. And, you know, there's like, I can poke around, do this. Even if he does this, you know, if he does this, then, you know, there's all these like things I could actually do. There's a lot of stuff I can actually do. That's actually not a good sequence, but that's actually but the thing is, like, especially if I have another stone up here, even if he actually does that, I can actually get you know, at least this stone out. So, and also I don't need to play there. I can also invade here, and there's probably some Aji there as well later on. If you block, he has to block here essentially, and you know, there are definitely like things you can actually do like right here. And then, like, you know, over here you have essentially this option. He can't actually Atari, and then he has to figure out something to do over here. I'm not exactly sure what. So there's definitely like Aji in the corner over here. Especially after you solidify this over here. So this corner isn't your territory quite yet. This is actually good. I was thinking about what to do. Usually, I think in this situation, I would probably just either jump out or jump over. If I was playing a regular match, I would probably do that. On a teaching game, though, I'm going to try to generate mistakes from him a little bit. I'm not trying to kill his corner because that's not possible. Well, I don't think it is anyways. He goes over, which is fine. I crawl in. Here it actually, I don't know, like, maybe it's just better to, it's probably better just to kind of do this at this moment and cut my 2 stones off. I would try to attack this group, but you have the option of attacking both these. So I guess this would be okay. But that's one option, and maybe it's the one I would take. This is really not, this is also another option. You give me this stone. You don't Atari here, because I'm probably just going to KO you on this one. You take the stone, but, or even here, you take the stone. I have 2 weak groups, and I would have to like do something with it, and you still get the corner territory. So that's actually another way you could actually play this. Just go here. This is basically the only move I have. And while I could do something like this, I guess. Yeah, that would actually give him some trouble. So maybe that wasn't the. Maybe this isn't the best. This would definitely give him some trouble because this is actually really hard to fix. I guess you could do this, but then you know I have this move, and it kind of becomes a ko for the corner. So this is not. This is actually not like that easy to answer. This honestly is not that easy to answer. I've seen Kata do this invasion multiple times, and this is actually why like this move is generally considered superior to this move, by the way. Because if you had this move, and if you actually had this move, I really wouldn't be able to do that. I know this move looks better because it threatens this group more, but generally, like for territory purposes, this move is far superior to that one. This is just a little too big. So this is actually pretty hard to answer. I honestly probably would have just taken this. I would probably just play this for Sente. Honestly, and attack these two groups. This one, I feel like I definitely would have just done this. Even on this, like, yeah, I could live. But, I mean, if you do this, like, I'm not in a good spot here or here. And I only get a smaller corner. So I would probably have just done that myself. Like, I would just have taken the outside influence. Or possibly, like, you can try to ko me. But I would just play the ko with you. Or, you know, the thing is, like, this is actually a really good option for him right now. So, yeah, like, realistically, that's actually a really good option. Like, do this. But when I Atari, you don't, like, you don't do the ko. You just connect. If I do this, then, you know, I'm not, I have to, like, do this. And this doesn't feel good for me, obviously. It's a lot like that, except you have this cornerstone, and that actually makes you feel a lot better, and I don't have, like, the corner wedge, so I have to crawl until I'm alive, and that feels really bad for me, so that's actually a pretty good option. The thing is, like, you can't keep, when I do this, you can't actually keep the corner. So there is an invasion down here, but with my scattered groups here and here, this is not a good invasion for me, because you can just, as you can see, like the score counter up here, black's actually ahead right now because I'm making him a lot thicker. And he does that. That's not too bad of a move. I'm going to do this over here. This particular move, like essentially like this particular move, you just want to do this. Force me to do things like this. Because you're still pretty thick over here. You're not really particularly afraid of me doing anything here. So you want to do something like this. And plus, like, coming up here, if you do actually come up here, you get solid territory here. So this is definitely to me, this is a big mistake in him not doing this. That's definitely like one here. He ends up, like, that's actually a really bad move. You definitely do this. Once again, you get territory here. I'm still kind of stuck here, you know. And you can still force over here as well. So, like, actually, like, at this point in the game, if he does this, I'm actually in a really bad position because I have 2 weak groups and he doesn't have any weak groups. Yeah, I got your corner territory, but you can actually attack me and solidify your territory down there. So that's actually a big mistake right there. Going in here instead of out there, I attach out. I honestly probably should have just extended or something. I attach out. I do this. And obviously, I should definitely poke down here, because, like, I can just kind of, like, go straight out here and destroy his territory. He can't really do anything. So I do this. That's a big mistake. He obviously should just do this because this actually threatens this. So I would actually have to answer this. I'd probably do this, and then he can just connect. And see, you now have all this territory down here, and I still have to run this group. So that would put him, that would definitely be, this is definitely the move to go here. He goes up. I'm going to do this first just to protect against this particular cut. And here, this is a weird answer because you still leave this peep open, which I later actually used. So, like, you can't really do this now. I don't think you can do this now because there's problems with this, obviously. And, like, this group is not completely free of threat. So like that's obviously not a good idea, but realistically, here, connecting is probably the best way to do things. Leave no peep or anything. That's just a weird answer. I Hane down. I do this. I extend. I can't do the double Hane here because you can just, do this. And I'm kind of dead in here. So I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm just going to extend. He actually extend over. I extend over more. And then I come up here. I maybe should have just like gone one more. But I like Hane up. He does this, and I take it. But this isn't horrible for him because I didn't get too bad. Like he probably thought this was horrible, but this isn't actually too horrible for him. There's still this move later on, and I'm still not quite alive here. So this is actually not horrible for him later on. He can still keep on doing forcing moves like this. I don't think he knows about this move, but if he watches the review, he'll actually learn it because I can't block. He can just do this. So this Hane is actually pretty painful for me. And this actually lasted for a long time. He actually might have been able to kill me like that later on, but he just didn't see the Hane move. So he does this, I do this, and then he does that. This, I guess this is okay. I'm going to poke around first, do that, then I basically jump up. This particular move, unless you're really intent on killing my group, I would probably just, like, if it were me, I would honestly probably just do that. This disconnect is still here, I would do this, and then you just basically have this corner. And then, like, I would probably have to make another move over here or something, and then you can invade the corner, and you would be ahead at this point. So I jump up. See, one of these days I'm going to play like the sequence, and then like one of the Q players is actually going to call me out on it because one of them, I can see it right now, like one of them will actually know how to play the sequence right, and then I'll end up losing the game. That particular isn't too important. This is still too open. There's just not that much territory there. I go up. Doing this, I believe this is the right move. Yeah, you might say, oh, you get that, but you also have this. I can't really KO you. That's like way too damaging for me. If you do that, I would probably just jump up or something. And then you can attack both my groups like this. I wouldn't worry too much about your group over here. I can't cut. So you're pretty safe. And then like I would be in a pretty bad position right here. So the correct move is when I Hane is actually probably just a Hane this way. Because I would have to connect, and you could just do this. I mean, yes, I could do this, but this is like really freaking hard to deal with. This is actually really, really hard to deal with. So that I believe is the right move. Like, yes, I do get a stone, but it's kind of like into your thickness, so it doesn't really do all that much. This is definitely the wrong move, because it gives me another Hane here, and I get to fix my problems afterwards. That's fine. I'm just going to force. And essentially, I'm going to solidify my corner. So, like, I solidify my corner, so this invasion here doesn't work. If it was Kata-Go, this wouldn't be solidifying. He'd still find some BS way to, like, invade this, but Kata-Go is, like, better than any human, so not really too worried when I play against a human player. And like I said, like this particular move is still very troublesome to me later. At this point, I would probably just sacrifice these 2 stones because these 2 stones aren't that important to me. But that move is still pretty painful later. So I do this. I think he actually answers correctly on the first move. Because if he just does this, like I would probably do like the same sequence over here as I did over there. And I would essentially just take his territory. But I don't think he did the follow-up moves right. That's fine. That's also fine. Although, realistically, maybe this is better. I think that's actually much better, because then you can just do this. I guess not, because... Yeah, but I mean, even if you do this, like... No, that's actually a ladder, so he can't do that. Like, he actually wins this. So it's actually not that great for me. So like you have to keep your head. You basically have to keep your head before me, and essentially, I don't know if I could actually. I don't know if I can live down here, because I'm not really sure if this thing. Yeah, I think it does work actually. Let me play this ladder out. I didn't really read this that far in advance. I know there's a ladder here. I'm just not really sure if it worked or not. But it does look like this ladder works, so we can actually do that. Yeah, this ladder does actually work for me, so he can actually do that. So there's that. You know what Kata would do in this case? He would play some like Kata Go. Honestly, would Kata Go would play this BS move and then reach out here, and then like see if he can kill this group afterwards. But I don't think he could. So that's what Kata would do, honestly. But regular players, I definitely don't suggest do that. So I guess this wouldn't work. So I guess he actually did play it. He did actually play it decently. I connected here. I've always, like, he can't do this because there's just too much, there's actually too much Aji here. But this honestly wouldn't have been too bad. And then, like, there's, like, this BS, then there's, like, random ass invasions here that I just really hate. Or just doing this attachment. There's, like, random ass invasions here that I absolutely despise. That the computer does all the time on me. Because, like, since this is so thick here now, since this is actually really, really thick, there's actually stones here now, this isn't solidified anymore. But I do break all this territory. So this was actually, yeah, this was actually a wrong move. Like, he probably should have done this. He most likely should have done that. Or, like, you know, when I do this, you just kind of ignore me and attack this group. If I do this, like, you just ignore me and kind of attack my group up here. Which he did, which is nice. I come up here. He does this. That's not a good move. That doesn't threaten anything. So I obviously, like, want, I don't want any Aji over here, so I just come up. He does this. I Hane. He does that. And I basically just jump up. Now, this group, I don't feel like is under too much threat. And I'm going to just Hane here. It's incredibly hard for him to kill this right now. He does that, but there's not much territory in here. I already took your entire side. There's not too much territory there. I do this. He does that. I mean, the thing is, like, with center territory like this, you're spending a whole lot of moves. Not getting too much here. And that's not really that great use of the influence. I do that. He does that. Like I said, there's not too much territory here. You can clamp, but there's all sorts of problems here. I do this. He relinquishes that. He can't actually do this because I can just disconnect. I mean, like, what I would do is I would just Atari here first. He has to do this. I mean, eventually I did this anyways, but, you know, just how, that's just how you play this. So I do this. This move isn't really necessary. This move isn't really necessary by me, but I was just trying to solidify, like, some eye space here, I guess. He does that. That's fine. That's decently big. I'm going to extend there. So, like, instead of this clamp is actually much bigger than this stone. And there's, like, if I don't actually address this, let's say I clamp the stone, you can always do this. And I can't really extend down at this point. So there's that. That's a big move. If you do this, I would actually have to do this. And, you know, like, you can take most of my territory on this corner. So that's actually, like, this is probably the biggest closing move right now, right there. Coming up's not that necessary, but I didn't want him to Hane me in. So, like, yeah, like I said, I was afraid of, like, this move at this point. Not this move. I was afraid of this move now. Because that would be no bueno. Definitely not good. So, like, as soon as he does this, I'm gonna just solidify this. And this move is actually fairly large. I mean, I can Hane back, so because like I was at Liberty's trapped, but I think this move is like stuff like this is actually pretty big right now. So maybe he should have done that. I'm gonna do this first. You can see I'm like increasing my lead little by little in the closing because like my read on what's bigger is just better than his at this point. I'm gonna do that. Do this. Just do that. This is actually pretty big. We left that here for a long time. I also forgot about this wedge. Come up here. That's fairly big. This clamp, I was thinking about this because I think that's dead. I'm pretty sure that's dead. So he answered this clamp wrong. He did actually answer this clamp wrong. This would have been fine. This would have been absolutely fine. I guess not. No, I could have just... No. Actually, that's not fine. I can just do that. Yeah, so... Yeah, no, he can't do... He can't really do anything. Because that would have ended up like that. So this clamp, like, both sides open. There is Aji here, so he didn't play this too badly. Obviously, I took away his corner. Now I'm up by like 40 points. Does this. I probably shouldn't have connected there because that's not big enough right now. I'm going to do that. Here. Here, you have to actually connect here. You can't... you cannot take because then that opens this up. And that's very, very, very much problematic for white. So you can't do that here. So yes, you have to connect because then you can. He doesn't have an Atari. He doesn't actually have an Atari, so he can't do this. So I made the right move there. He does this. I do this. I'm gonna Hane that first because it's bigger. He connects. I mean Sente. He can't do this obviously because I have the double Hane. I have the double Tari here. So I just do this. Once he did this, I should have seen the double wedge. This is not that big. I should have just done this first or something. So I actually missed that, and he caught it. Well, not yet. This is pretty big down here, making a couple of his points mine. I mean, that's not a good move right now because it just cost you right there. It only costs you like a point or two, but in a close game, you don't want to do that. I can just ignore him. I'm going to just take this to make sure there's nothing in here. I don't think there's anything in there, but like there's nothing in there. He does this, I'm going to take. He does this, I'm going to connect. That's just Sente. That's perfectly fine. He has to connect first, and then I do this. And, you know, just some Aji here. This, and then... I completely forgot about this. I should have just done this. Completely forgot about that. This particular move is way bigger than anything else. I think I probably could have blocked here. Just didn't really want to. Yeah, I can definitely block here. If it was a close game, I probably would have blocked. But no reason to actually risk something like that. I forgot about that move. That move is actually worth a lot of points. He disconnects up here. I barge in. And that's perfectly fine. Then, you know, these are just closing moves. So, essentially, what this game came down to is he played the invasions wrong, and he played this wall wrong, because this invasion here, he should have just let me live, because this was going to live down here anyways. He should have let me live down here, taken the thickness, and divided my two groups, and attacked those two groups. Obviously, some of the biggest mistakes he made, some of the biggest mistakes he made was going here and not going over here. That was one mistake. B, not Haneing up and letting me Hane eventually. That's a second big mistake for him. And probably like not knowing about this move later on. C, actually extending this instead of like coming back over like this. It's a third big mistake. Because like I know a lot of people don't like to lose stones, but separating these two groups is so much more important right now. Letting me getting this double Hane and doing this. By this point, I was solidly like once I connected here, I was solidly ahead. He just played that wrong. That move is fine. This particular corner Aji is hard to say. Like when I do this, like you should probably just extend up and then attack this group later. But letting me basically Hane, following me on my Hane gets me a lot of points down here. So not good there. I extend here. And of course, like letting me come up this way. Trading this move for this move is also really bad for him. Of course, like my closing, my closing moves, just like what I visualize as big is better than what he visualizes as big. If you really want to practice your closing moves, play Katago a lot. You'll see like basically perfect closing move play from Katago or like one of the 90 bots. Like I know that like these central moves just aren't as big as like this move, honestly. And I mean, it's like I know how to break these things. And I know that like, for instance, I know that saving this stone isn't as big as this clamp down here. So like between those two, he just lost like 8-9 points. So closing moves very important. Study how higher ranked players do closing moves. Study how Katago and JXBot do closing moves, because those are perfect. Because I can, against lower Q players, I can definitely gain about 10-15 points in the closing like this. This game wasn't very violent. This game, like, I didn't really try to kill anything. I just basically, like, showed you, like, certain invasions and kind of described, like, how black should play them. You don't always have to kill a group to be successful in fending off an invasion. Sometimes you can just build up your territory and attack other groups or gain advantages on other side of the board. You got to take account of the entire board, not just the group that's being invaded, because sometimes it's inevitable that it'll like live a group in your territory, but you know, like and especially I've gotten better at I've gotten better at these low invasions since playing Katago a lot. But sometimes you can just use this thickness to actually kind of like attack his other groups and maybe like gain territory through attacking his other groups. So this is a big fault I find with SDKs is they don't really know how to use influence at all. Because if they actually knew how to use influence, I would not be able to beat them so easily. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you learned something. And if you have questions, please comment. Give this video a like, thumbs up. And I will see you guys on the next game.